Hi everyone, it's Timmy. Today I'm going to be covering the five elements in Chinese medicine, the generation cycle of the five elements, and the controlling cycle of the five elements. So in Chinese medicine, there are five elements. In Chinese culture, when Chinese medicine was first founded, um, we started with the five motions or actions. That's germination, growth, transformation, reaping, and storing. So naturally, the Chinese had five elements as well that corresponded most closely to this action. Wood being germination, the beginnings, fire being growth and expansion, earth being the transformation, metal being reaping, and water being storing. So the order that I just mentioned was the generation cycle. Wood creates fire, fire creates earth, earth creates metal, metal creates water, and water creates wood. You can also say that they support or lead into one another. So first, we have wood generating fire. Wood naturally generates fire. You can think of a campfire. Wood is the kindle for a fire to start, and so naturally, wood generates fire. Next, you have fire generating earth. When you finish burning your fire and the embers die out, it turns into ash. And this is fertile soil, like ash is very fertile and creates the soil that builds earth. So that's the way we can think about fire generating earth. Next, we have earth generating metal. When you think about how metal is created, earth is compressed into millions of layers in the earth, and in turn, you have little iron droplets that create the metal we know. And so earth generates metal. And next, we have metal generating water. This one takes a little bit of a second, but there are different ways to think about how metal generates water. The first way you can think of is think of a very cold metal cup. Metal will naturally condensate water because of its difference in temperature. So metal generates water. Another way to think about it is the Chinese used to have wells for water, and the only way to pick up that water was with a non-porous material. And naturally, that would be a metal bucket of some sort. So that metal bucket generating water. And finally, for the more chemistry-minded viewers out there, osmosis relies that we learn in molecular biology. When you have metal ions that are within more higher concentration on one side, water will naturally come towards the side with more concentration. And so with these three different ways of thinking about it, metal generates water. And last but not least, we're going back to wood. Water generating wood. And so this one should be pretty easy to think about. We all have raised a plant before, and to keep the plant alive, you need water. You need to water it every week at least. And so because we water wood, water generates wood. Of course, with generation comes destruction or controlling. This is the controlling cycle of the five elements, and you can notice that the pattern is you skip what it generates and it controls what its child generates. So an example, wood controls earth, earth controls water, water controls fire, and fire controls metal. So let's go through each of those cycles to see how we can make sense of the controlling cycle. First, wood controls earth. A good way of thinking about this is the roots created by a tree really split the earth. It really goes through the earth. Nothing can really stop a tree from branching out its roots. And so in that regard, wood controls earth. A more artificial example of earth is if you've ever seen concrete blocks on a sidewalk. And there's a big tree next to that sidewalk. The sidewalk will naturally split because of the roots of the tree. And so with that, you can think of wood controlling earth. Next, we have earth controlling water. Water naturally doesn't really have a path to flow, and it relies on the earth underneath it to know where it's going to go next. And so because earth dams the water and the water follows the path that earth creates, earth controls water. Next, we have water controlling fire. If you think about a firefighter, when fire is out of control, they have to use water to control it. And so naturally, water controls fire. Next, we have fire controlling metal. And so you might want to, your first thought might be, oh, but like fire can control wood, right? Remember that wood is the generation cycle for fire. So wood generates fire. Fire controls metal. And you can think about metal being this very hard substance, but only with fire can you control metal. So fire controls metal. Last, we have metal going back to wood, metal controlling wood. This, you have different ways of thinking about it. You could think about how metal things like axes or what's it called? A chainsaw. It cuts down trees, and so metal controls wood in that regard. For a less gruesome example, you can think of chopping lettuce. So a knife chops the greens that goes in your salad, and so metal controls wood. So with that, in this video, we went over the 5 elements. We went over the generation cycle and the destruction cycle. In the next video, we're going to go over the diagnosis and treatment implications with the 5 elements. See you in the next one.